Hello, and welcome to another episode of Moog doing horrible things to plastic. Now, since my last video, I've been carrying on experimenting with Eldar and such, and posting things up on Instagram. And from that, I have received literally some questions about this little bike thing that I posted up a few days ago, asking me how did I achieve that weathered bone kind of effect, and basically how to go about painting it. So that's what I'm going to try and demonstrate in this video. This is going to take a little bit of time, but mostly in waiting for paint to dry. So the actual technique itself is fairly simple and easy to conduct. So what I will need in the first instance is to get rid of this guy. And here's one I didn't do earlier. Right, I have. This is actually one of the original 1990s vintage Eldar Jetbikes from that era, which I've done nothing with since. And I don't think they've changed the model since, have they? I think they might be about to. Anyway, what I've done with this model is basically I have primed it with gloss black. Now you're obviously thinking, what on earth am I priming with gloss for? Well, it works really, really well under metallics. Now, for what I'm going to do with the metallics, I will be using, where is it? This stuff. Now, this stuff is absolutely fantastic. It comes in a wide range of colours, but I'll be using the green in this instance. Witness on the back of the jet bike there. Now this works best out of an airbrush, I found, but you can brush it on as well. Let me just get the airbrush fired up and we'll get the show on the road, because this stuff is really quite special once it gets going. And once you know what you're doing with it, you can do things like that, which is absolutely crazy amount of beautiful metallic blending. Really easy. I don't do anything that's complicated, seriously. I'm never going to win a Golden Demon competition in my life. I'm a rank average painter at best. Right, apologies for the noise levels, ladies and gents. Right. Oh, that's actually not as loud as I thought it was going to be. Give this paint a quick shake. Flip that the right way up. And you don't need much of this at all. Just a few spots, because I'm not doing much. I don't know whether you can see that in there. It's got quite a milky kind of colour to it, but you can definitely see it's got some metallic qualities to it. Now, is that not coming through? Oh, don't tell me my airbrush is broken. No, there we go. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? But you can't see it, can you? Yeah. Fantastic. Beautiful metallic sheen. It probably shows up better on the canopy. Look at that. That is absolutely crazy. Anyway, I just thought I'd showcase them because I really do like those paints. And now I'm going to completely paint over that, at least on the canopy. I'll be back in a moment. Right, so I did that green canopy just for the demonstration purposes for the green stuff. Well, metal filter paints, which I really, really do like. Right, so what I've done now is I've just gone over the canopy again with some Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl brown transparent paint, which has pigment for days, so you get really, really good coverage out of it, but it's quite a thin paint as well, so it goes straight through the airbrush and it just covers for days. Right, so we're going to do something to get that kind of crackly texture there, which I've kind of given the game away by saying that. What we're going to use for that, simply because I have it, there are other examples, is Grellan Badlands, which is a Games Workshop texture paint. They do a Martian variant of this as well, and I think there's there's a couple of variants. It doesn't matter what colour you use, because we're going to paint over it. So just get a bit of that out. Nice big thick brush, no airs and graces here. And just slap it on reasonably thickly to get the bigger cracks. I wonder if I've used the right paint, because there's two different paints. I may have screwed up. One moment. None of that ever happened. I didn't screw up. And this was the paint I was using originally. Really it was, honestly. Yeah, so this technical Grelin Earth, not Badlands, because Badlands is that gloopy stuff that looks like mud, is the one you want, because that gives you the crackly effect. I mean, what kind of an idiot would put the Badland paint on a miniature like this? No point at all. So what you do is you get your Grelin Earth and slap it on, as thick as you like in some places. With a thick application of paint, you will get larger cracks. Sort of maybe describe a crack across the surface of the canopy like that. Just fill it in with a bit more, so you get really deep crackles, and towards the edges you thin it out a bit, and there you'll get the smaller cracks. Maybe get a bit more going on over here. Yeah. Just like that. And then comes the really exciting bit, literally watching paint dry. But I won't put you through that. I will turn off the camera and we will reconvene when it's good and dry. I will see you in a moment. A little bit of movie magic. We are a couple of hours on, where my Jetbike has been sat in my airing cupboard for a couple of hours, so with a little bit of heat to help it dry out. And we got a lovely crackled effect on the canopy, which is what a Grelin Earth does for you. Alright, what I need to do now is we need to get a bit of a bone colour on there, so I'm going to be using this is Vallejo Bone White, but you can use anything like Wraith Bone or anything like that. It's all very much a muchness. I'm going to be putting it through an airbrush, but again you can apply this thinly with a brush if you want. Let's get my airbrush sorted out. Come on, compressor. Right, let's load her up. So when we find out a little bit of nonsense is copyrighted by somebody, oh well. Just apply the bone colour right over the top of the Grelin Earth, just like that. This is a beautiful bone colour, which is going to get even more beautiful when we apply the next step. Just get those shuriken catapults down the side as well. Not that we're going to be applying any kind of texture to them, but they need to be that dark. There we go, very rough and ready. Like I say, I'm not going to win any Golden Demon awards, and don't particularly care to. I work to the philosophy that if it looks good at arm's length, it's good enough for me. I use these things to play games with, not win competitions with. Right, I just need to apply some gloss varnish to that now. If you've seen my other video, then you might understand why, but I'll get that done now. And there we go, a slight coating, very, very thin coating of gloss varnish over there, again out of the airbrush. Because the next step is the old faithful AK streaking grime, the subject of my other video that I've done, which is basically Grimdark in a bottle. So give that a bit of a shake. Leave the lid on before you shake it, otherwise disasters happen, as nearly demonstrated there. And I'll get my airbrush because you can hear my compressor in the background. It's an Ailing compressor. It's on its way out. I'm hoping to replace it fairly soon. Just a tiny bit of that in there. Put the lid back on, otherwise disasters. Oh, what's the cat up to? What are you doing, cat? Who knows? Cat things. Right, and so I can see what I'm doing. I put my glasses on, over my glasses. Yep, I wear 2 pairs of glasses. I wear my regular prescription glasses and a pair of, I think they're either 2.5 or 3 reading glasses over the top because I'm old. And it helps to be able to see what you're doing. So, I don't know whether that's in focus or, yeah, there we go. So you can see the nice crackling effect. So what you want to do is get your streaking grime and just spot it over. Is that not working? Come on, work. Work your beast, there you go. Spot it over the top. Darkest in the middle. Over the heaviest areas of scoring and corrosion. And there we go. Let's chuck a bit on the guns as well. And on the back, why not? Because I have a whole backstory for these Biltan and where they've come from and why they are the way they are. Which, well, if anyone's interested, pop a note in the comments and I'll maybe explain in the comments. I don't think it's really worth a video because it's basically just my headcanon. But yeah, if you're interested, pop a note in the comments. And like and subscribe, because, you know, that's what YouTubers say these days. There we go. So that's nice and mottled. And a few more blasts, and I think that will probably do us. Because you know what stage is coming next. I can turn my airbrush off for this. Just bear with me 1 second. Oh. There we go. Ah, peace and quiet. Right, because now comes Old Faithful, the glasses cloth. Yeah, it's a wreck. Yeah, it's mucky. Doesn't matter, because I'm going to be using it to take paint off. So all that streaking grime we've carefully applied to the miniature is now going to get taken off equally carefully. So this is just regular airbrush thinner from Vallejo again, or Vallejo as it should be pronounced. So just moisten the lens cloth. So there's a fair bit on there. And you just start dabbing away. Gentle wipes with the cloth. Don't apply too much pressure, otherwise you'll end up taking the streaking grime out from within the recesses, which is not what you want. Not for the effect you're trying to get. Now, those who've seen my other video will understand why I did the gloss varnish coat beforehand. If you don't put any kind of varnish down, you get a lot more of a tint from the streaking grime than you would otherwise. You're not able to take as much off. And again, if you use matte varnish, it's sort of in a midpoint, so you can tailor it for the effect you want, really. But as I was looking for a reasonably aged but cleanish kind of finish, sort of an aged bone, I thought I'd try and get most of the streaking grime off on the first pass. So there we have it. And that didn't take very long at all. I mean, the biggest amount of time there was the 2 hours, I suppose, it took to dry in the airing cabinet to really crack and dry out that Agrax earth. So there we go. And from there you can start raising highlights and fill in all the details and such as you would normally. Okay. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I'll stick this on my channel fairly soon, he says, but you know that because you're watching it. And I'll hopefully be able to knock out some more content for you in the near future. Bye for now.